How's it going, everybody? This is Sir here, and we have the Hellfire Club live in game right now, but more importantly, it's also live on the website. So I do want to go through and take a look at their kits to kind of see what we can expect from this team, because as we know now, Rachel Summers is getting that Immortal X-Men tag. Azazel is also getting the Accursed tag. Now, as far as their speeds goes, let's go ahead and check out that first. For Sebastian Shaw, he's going to be going first. He doesn't have a 126 speed. As far as his gear goes, it looks like he'll be using the Luminium. I cannot say that word. It's like saying aluminum, I swear. As far as his kit goes, let's go ahead and discuss him first, because he's going to be the first character to go on this team, and he loves Emma Frost. They are like a new power duo that we're going to be having in this game. So let's start by taking a look at their passive. So on spawn, gain taunt. It's going to bury yourself for 30% of this character's max health. If there's 3 or more Hellfire Club allies, gain charge. This is fantastic because that means there's room for theory crafting to where we can actually replace one of the Hellfire Club members. Probably either going to be Emma Frost, depending on the matchup, because a lot of characters and teams are starting to kind of shut down the speed reduction that she does, or Madelyne Pryor, who has a 104 speed. She is super slow. Now, I could see Emma Frost still staying on this team because, like I said, he is a power couple with her. When an enemy attacks this character, gain charge and apply charge to a random Emma Frost ally. So he's going to be feeding charges to Emma Frost. It's also going to be filling speed bar by 5% for Emma Frost. So every time he gets hit, she's getting turn meter, which is really cool. When this character drops below 50% max health, bury yourself for 10% of this character's max health. Fill the speed bar for a random Emma Frost ally by 50%. And while this character has charged, gain plus 20% damage, 200% resistance, 500% focus, and 15% damage reduction, up to a maximum of 80% damage reduction. This is insane. He's barely going to be taking any damage on here. And again, he does spawn in with taunt. So he's a pre-taunt without needing the full team, which is really, really cool. Now, this character cannot gain exposed, vulnerable, or heal block. This character cannot have their speed bar reduced, so no turn meter rewinds. And in raids, Hellfire Club allies cannot gain taunt. So basically, any like Liberty members that can throw taunt out there, they're not getting taunt. He's the only character that can have taunt while in raids. Really, really cool kit. The ultimate, wow, this is a long cooldown. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 turns for cooldown, and he's going to be doing this on turn 2. So attack the primary for 375% piercing, attack primary and adjacent for 375% piercing. If charged, damage is increased by 150%. This ignores defense up. While charged, this attack is unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. For the special 4-turn cooldown, that's actually pretty good cooldown as far as this goes, and you can see the icons are not correct, obviously. Clear barrier on all enemies. Attack all enemies for 350% damage. If charged, damage is increased by 125%. If this character has 3 or more Hellfire Club allies, apply heal block for 2 turns and defense down for 2 turns to all enemies. That's really cool. It's for all enemies. Reduce speed bar by 5% for all enemies as well. Not a big turn meter rewind, but it could be just enough that you need. Gain taunt. Bury yourself and all Hellfire Club allies for 30% of this character's max health. Apply defense up for 2 turns, safeguard for 2 turns, and self for Hellfire Club allies. Build speed bar by 35% to Emma Frost. While charged, this attack is unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. And then we have the basic here. Attack primary for 330% damage. If charged, apply stun to the primary target and clear charge for this character. While charged, this character is it's unavoidable, cannot be counterattacked. Now, let's go ahead and see what ISO we'd want on him. He does spawn in with barrier, so I do see fortifier. He also gets... Does he get barrier for anyone else? Maybe from Emma Frost, I believe. I could see healer being a big one, just to keep him there and having him kind of bounce around that 50% mark. I think healer would be a really good ISO for him as well. Now, if we end up taking a look at the T4s for this character, we'll do that thing as well. The passive, well charged. Yeah, this is like super essential. So you're definitely going to T4 the passive. The ultimate, if charged, increased damage by 100% and 50% damage on here. This is a pretty high value because he's going to be doing this on turn 2. And he's basically going to have charge. So it's going to be increasing by 150. So that's going to be about, what is that, 475, 525% damage if he has piercing, or if he has charge on there for piercing. That's going to be really powerful when he gets that pulled off. The special right here, 50% damage if charge damage is increased by 125. Yeah, the charge portion is added on there. That's a pretty good one, especially with a short cooldown like that. The basic, I think, is okay-ish. I don't think it's like mandatory, or it's got value, making it to where you can't miss like that. That might be more situational. So I would definitely do a passive, ultimate, and special as far as that goes. The passive is definitely going to be a must for that. And we'll go ahead and try to take a look at the stat table after this. The next character I believe that's going to go is Rachel Summers. She has a 124 speed on here. She's going to be using Astral Energy, it looks like. Let's go ahead and take a look at her kit now. Now, again, she's going to be on that Immortal X-Men team. It's probably going to be Cable that's going to be getting subbed out, unfortunately, because she does a lot of the same thing that he does. He has that turn meter rewind, though, on the special, so it might be one of those things, like, depending on the matchup. If you need that turn meter rewind, you keep Cable. Otherwise, you're going to be benching Polaris, would be my guess. All right, so for the passive first. On spawn, gain immunity. If this character has 3 or more Immortal X-Men allies, apply immunity to all Immortal X-Men. That is very, very high value, because if you end up punching Immortal X-Men into that Black Knight, Kahori, Omega Sentinel, Emma Frost team, and Crucible, the Omega Sentinel, if she gets the stun landed on Storm, the match is over. You just automatically lose right there. This is going to prevent that stun. So that right there is going to make that counter so much easier right off the bat. If Cable is not an ally, and there's 3 or more Immortal X-Men allies, build speed bar by 5% for self and all Immortal X-Men allies. So right here, this is the portion of the kit where it's going to be, hey, Cable, take a seat. I got this. On enemy turn, if that character has speed up or stun, attack for 250% piercing, flip 3 positive effects into negative effects as well. That's on enemy turn. So if the enemy has speed up or stun, she's going to be doing outer turn damage to them and flipping positive effects. That's really, really cool. So when Storm ends up getting the stun out there, she's going to be doing piercing and flipping the positive effects on them. And the speed up, she's going to be shooting into Night Stalkers also. Really, really cool. When an enemy gains slow, if this character has 3 or more Hellfire Club or Immortal X-Men allies, reduce that character's speed bar by 15% and apply trauma. So if they get slow, which Storm again gets slow out there on everybody, she's going to be reducing their turn meter. That's massive, massive value. Protector enemies cannot spawn with immunity or safeguard. So that's basically a Gladiator. So he's not going to have taunt because of Jean Grey's passive. He's not going to have immunity or safeguard. He's wide open to get blasted. Support enemies cannot spawn with immunity and cannot gain speed bar on spawn. I believe that is a call out to Oath, to where they can't get speed bar on spawn. But even still, Oath is only on offense. I'm curious who the support is. I might have to take a look at that one. If this character has 3 or more Immortal X-Men allies, enemy characters can only have the resistance increased by positive effects, no assisting as well, and gain 25% drain. So she's getting drained to the Immortal X-Men also. That's really, really cool. She's a really good lifter for that team. Mental Devastation. This is a 6-turn cooldown. Attack primary for 500% piercing. Flip all positive effects into negative effects. All of them. Wow. attack adjacent enemies for 500% piercing as well. That's a massive hit. 500% piercing to primary and adjacent. Clear all positive effects and spread stun and all other negative effects. That spreading stun is just amazing. Apply immunity to self and all Hellfire Club and Immortal X-Men allies on kill. So she kills with this move, which 500% piercing is highly likely she's going to get a kill. On kill, fill speed bar for self, a random Jean Grey, and a random Sebastian Shaw ally by 70%. So I believe it's going to go Storm, Jean, I believe Rachel. Then she's going to push Jean to go again really quick to get that ultimate pulled off. And then Storm is going to ult, and that's just going to delete anybody that's left alive. Immortal X-Men is going to be cracked with this. Wow. This attack ignores defense up, cannot be dodged or blocked. Special. Very short cooldown, 3 turns. Attack primary target for 400% damage. Flip 3 positive effects into negative effects. Reduce speed bar by 25%. Bonus attack the most injured enemy for 400% damage. So it's going to hit a primary, then it's going to hit somebody else that's the most injured. Clear 3 positive effects. Reduce that character's turn meter by 25%. And it's going to be spreading stun to 3 and 3 other negative effects from the primary to the most injured. That spreading stun gives her so much value in multiple game modes. This is not even locked behind the team where you need 3 or more or the full team to be able to spread these stuns. And she has a speed of 124. That's not that slow to be able to get a move like that pulled off. You can throw like Nightcrawler with, that would end up giving her turn meter and speed up and everything. That could be very interesting. That's very cool. The basic attack primary target for 280% damage. Apply defense down. Bonus attack the enemy with the highest damage for 280. And apply defense down as well. So yeah, I'm thinking Raider. Because this move right here, what's going to attack primary and adjacents. Just getting the crit of a 500% piercing on all of them. And then this move here, 400% damage on a primary and then a bonus attack. I could see Raider. I could see a case for Striker. I don't think we need the Striker because the defense down on here. I'm going Raider on her for sure. Now, as far as T4s goes, let's go ahead and take a peek at that really quick. When an enemy gains slow, if there's 3 or more, reduce turn meter by 15% and apply trauma. Apply trauma automatically makes it essential. So you want to do that right there. And the turn meter as well, because otherwise there's no turn meter reduction. This is a mandatory basically for her. The ultimate, spread stun. And I bet this is spread stun. Spread stun. So yeah, you want to do all 3. Special, ultimate, passive. 60% damage on the basic. Immortal X-Men, she's not even going to be using that basic. In raids, we need to see if there's a form of battery on there. Probably Azazel's going to be an energy battery for them. Make it where they can rip out a lot of these abilities because they're high. These are long cooldowns for that 6 turn in Sebastian Shaw's. Let's go ahead and check out Azazel next. Now, Azazel, he takes Ballistic Weave, 122 speed. He's going 3rd on the team. What was Emma Frost speed? Because they didn't change the speed. She's 111. So yeah, it's going to be Sebastian, Rachel, Azazel, Emma, Madelyne. Unless Sebastian gets hit, giving that speed over to Emma over there. Now, as far as his abilities goes, again, he has the Accursed tag. He's going to be replacing Mordo on that team. And the fact he has Drain automatically makes it he's going to be on that team no matter what. Ooh, long cooldowns for him too. Jeez, that's not cool. All right, let's go ahead and check out the passive first. The Black Bishop on spawn. If this character has 3 or more Hellfire Club or Accursed allies, fills speed bar for this character by 5%. So 5% turn meter on spawn just for him. Generate 1 ability energy for this character on spawn. meaning he's going to be able to ult turn 1 in raids on enemy death. So only in raids, generate ability energy for self and Hellfire Club allies, fill speed bar for self and Hellfire Club allies by 15%. So he's getting a 5%, and then the Hellfire Club allies get 15%. And because that 5% right there, he actually goes second on the team. It's going to be Sebastian, Azazel, Rachel. So he's going to be the setup. Probably getting some native effects out there, like maybe a defense down for Rachel to really blast him or something. Gain 15% drain. Hellfire Club Accursed gets 15% drain as well. So the ultimate, this is going to be that turn 1 ability. Attack the primary for 250% piercing, clear the positive effect. So she's going to be taking off like immunity, defense up, deflex, stuff like that. Reduce the speed bar of them, so he's doing a pushback. Rebound to 8 targets within infinite spaces like Nightcrawler does. Of the previous target for 250% piercing, clear positive effect, reduce the speed bar by 15%. Bonus attack the enemy with the highest speed for 250 piercing, clear positive effect, apply slow, reduce the speed bar. So he's only putting slow on the fastest character, which is pretty interesting, right? Because whoever the fastest character is, it's like, nah, you're going to go slower now, so that way you're not going to get your turn popped off on top of the turn meter, and a 50% turn meter at that. If this character has 3 or more Hellfire Club or Accursed allies, this attack cannot be counterattacked, and it ignores defense up. The special, attack all enemies for 320% damage, flip defense up, apply bleed, attack a bonus attack the enemy with the highest damage for 320, apply blind to them, and if there's 3 or more Hellfire Club or Accursed, it cannot be counterattacked. The basic, attack prime for 300, bonus attack 150. If there's 3 or more, it cannot be counterattacked. Now, as far as the turn meter or the turn order is going to go for the Cursed team, I believe Satana still goes first at the 125. The 5%, let me double check what that effectively makes his speed. So he's 122 times 5%. That puts him at a 128. He goes before Satana. So because he goes before Satana, he's going to be doing turn meter pushbacks on turn 1, a massive one on the highest speed, along with the slow. Very interesting. Then Satana's going to go, and then it's going to be the Hood, Helverine, and then Juggernaut. Unless Juggernaut, of course, gets hit, then that gives him that turn meter. So that should be what the turn order is going to be for the Accursed team. Now, as far as the T4s goes for this character, let's take a look at that. The passive in raids on enemy death fills speed bar. This is going to be essential for raids if you want to summit, so that way you can actually get moving on there. Also, this is going to be getting the ability energy for this character on spawn. So yeah, his passive is definitely a must. The reducing the turn meter on the secondary and this, that's essential. That's going to be like a 5-star type of thing that you want to do on him. Apply bleed, apply blind. This is a very, very high value. I don't know if it's like essential for him. And the basic is just kind of there. The issue with this team, because of those long cooldowns, that usually means that it's going to bring the value up of those basics, because you're not going to be doing as many abilities unless you can really kill the team that quickly to where you're not going to be getting to the basics. So that is something that you want to keep in mind for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Emma Frost next. Again, she has the Ballistic Weave. She's 111 speed. Her kit didn't change at all. Now, if you are an older player, I'll still go over the kit for you guys to where you maybe didn't invest in Emma Frost in the past. If you didn't, just know when she came out, she was a game-changing character because of the reduce in the speed. So if you end up taking a look at her passive on here, where it's the apply 10%, negative 10% speed, that is where her value came in. And then just trying to punch through her barrier, a healer Emma Frost was almost impossible to kill. She would solo a 5-man team when she came out. She was that busted. So as far as the passive goes, On turn, heal for 15% max health. That's why healer was so good on her. Give the negative 10% speed while charged. She gains plus 400% armor, plus 500% resistance, meaning you're not landing really any negative effects on her. Onward offense on spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to all mutant allies. Because this is defense and this looks to be an offensive team, I don't think you really need this T4 on here. She should be fine without it. Now for the special, she's going to be doing this one turn 1 outside of range. So we'll do this one first. Let's go ahead and throw the T4 on. If charged, clear charged. Bury yourself for 20% of her max health. Clear all negative effects from self and all allies. Apply immunity to self and all mutant villain allies, meaning that Rachel Summers isn't going to be getting the immunity on here, but she does get immunity on spawn. So she's basically protected on that turn 1 as well. Apply slow to all enemies, gain charged. The T4 is going to be clearing all negative effects from 3 negative effects. So this does have very high value going from 3 to all, especially when you look at the raid aspect of things. Plus the immunity to all mutant allies. This is a very, very high value T4. If we go to the ultimate next, if charged, clear all positive effects from all enemies. It's going to put blind on the primary target, and then it's going to mind control 2 enemies or ally characters with the most damage to attack the primary target, basically the character that has that blind on them. The controlled characters gain plus 40% damage for this attack. If the primary target is killed, apply blind to the non-summoned enemy with the most speed bar, and it has a plus 10,000% extra focus, meaning it's going to land, and it's also unavoidable. So if you look at using Emma and she's able to actually make it to the ultimate, say against like Xavier team, that Xavier is just going to be kind of blasted down, or if you target somebody else, Xavier is going to do the hit. That's like an extreme example. I don't know if she'd end up surviving long enough to be able to pull this off against Xavier, but it is something to kind of keep in mind. Now, as far as the T4 goes, it goes from clear 3 positive effects to clearing all positive effects. And it goes from mind control 1 enemy to 2 enemies, and it's doing a damage boost. So this one has very high value as well. The basic, it's just extra 60% damage, so you don't really need the basic. It does 290% damage, flip 2 positive effects into negative effects. If charged, attack the primary for 340, clear 2 positive effects instead. So again, you don't really need the basics, but because of the long cooldowns of a lot of the teams, it does give value. She doesn't really need it though, because she has short cooldowns. Now let's go ahead and check out Madelyne. Madelyne, she did not get a speed boost. 104 speed. She's going to be so slow, and I think she is going to be the one that kind of gets subbed out, unfortunately, because the kits are saying 3 or more. So she's, to me, the first one that's going to be getting benched. Now, when she does get her moves off, she is going to be hitting like a truck. Oh, and she does take the astral energy. So let's go ahead and check out the kit on her. So the passive, the Goblin Queen. When an enemy attacks this character or any Hellfire Club, Marauder, or cloned ally below 50% health, so they have to be under that 50% mark, mind control the ally with the highest damage to attack that enemy. The controlled character gains plus 30% damage. Now, she is going to be gaining 50% chance to assist on non-attack abilities. We'll have to double check which are going to be non-attack abilities. Emma Frost Special is a non-attack ability for sure. I need to double check Shaw, though. I think he might have a couple. Gain plus 50% resistance per enemy brawler. Lower the crit chance by 50% for all mutant enemies. And then ward defense on spawn. Fill speed bar by 30% for random Strife allies. Strife's not on the team anymore. If we take a look at the T4, it goes from a 25% chance to assist to a 50% chance, and the damage of the controller is going to be 10% for this portion up here. So it goes from 20% to 30%. Right off the bat, that doesn't really entice me. Emma Frost, her special is not an attack ability. This one technically is, because you're causing the mind control damage to kind of happen. Azazel, both of its moves are attack based. Rachel, attack based. Shaw, clear, attack all. When an enemy attacks us, that's the passive. Attack primary adjacent, clear. Yeah, so the only thing that's going to be getting triggered off this is going to be Emma Frost special. This one here, the only thing you're looking at is going to be this 10% damage. I don't think you need the passive or Madelyne, it looks like. Let's go ahead, move over to the special. She's going to be doing this turn 1. Attack all enemies for 300% damage. It's going to get defense down out there for 2 turns. If Cyclops, Phoenix, or Dark Phoenix is an enemy, bonus attack for next for 300%. It's going to get offense down for 2 turns to all Brawler and Blaster. Disrupt to Protector. Try to get the no more taunts basically on there. And Controller enemies. Ability block for 1 turn to all Protector. And 2 turns to all Support. Really interesting move here. It's at 300% damage, defense down and everything, so that's pretty good. The T4 is going to be doing the extra 50% damage. It's got value, but I don't think it's going to be a very high value, honestly. The ultimate here, Brimstone Meteor, flip positive effects on the primary target, or all positive effects, okay. Attack the primary for 600% damage. Prolong the duration of all negative effects by 1. On War Offense, this character targets the most injured non-summoned enemy. This attack can target Dark Phoenix. On kill, it's going to be generated 2 ability energy for a random Mr. Sinister ally. I don't know. It's going to be doing an extra 100% damage, and it goes from flip 3 to flip all. So it definitely has value because of that damage on there. This could really screw you, though. Because if you really want to try to nuke somebody that's maybe at half health, but there's somebody that's under that half health, it's going to hit that character instead. Because that 600% damage on new stats is going to be insane. I honestly think... Oh, this is more defense, not offense. Don't mind me. But yeah, consider you're controlling them. That does give it more value. So, interesting enough, because that 600% damage is going to be massive. The basic, attack the primary target for 300% damage. Flip 3 positive effects into negative effects. This is probably her most value right here. And it goes from flip 2 to flip 3. 60% damage. This has a pretty good value to it. Especially with the long cooldowns and everything. So like turn 3 on, she can start flipping stuff. I'm also thinking Striker. She's going last on the team. So having her say do 600% damage, then follow that by a Striker hit, that's just going to delete anybody that she targets on there. So yeah, definitely a Striker for her is what I'm looking at. Now, as far as the stats goes, I do want to pull up the stat table just to kind of get a quick peek of where they're at. We're going to turn the passives off. This is how I typically do this. Calculate power. I want to look at the health. Where does Sebastian Shaw fit on here? So if we look at Shaw, Shaw is 12th for the health pool at 12.1 million health on there. That's just underneath Daredevil Modern. So I do want to compare him to that. Daredevil Modern has 111,000 resist. Shaw's 77,000. And he has half the armor class as well. The thing with Shaw, though, is his passive. Because he's going to have Barrier. He's also going to be having... where's that? The T4. He's also going to have an extra 200% resistance, 500% focus, and that damage reduction. So he effectively has... Let me move this over here. 200% extra resistance is 77,594 times 200%. Forgive me, 77,594 times 200%. 155,000. He's going to have the highest resistance in the game. So when he's charged, he's going to be insane. especially with the damage reduction that he's going to be having out there. Very, very cool. I do want to check the damage stats of these characters next. So if we end up taking a look, there's Blastar. So we have Rachel Summers is 11th for damage, basically tied with Havoc. So Havoc level damage is very good. Azazel has Lilandra damage and null damage, so very high damage as well. That's also the same as the Hood. So you kind of expect Azazel, he's going to be doing about the Hood level damage until we get more stars on him. So I know like right now he doesn't look like he hits as hard, but he's going to be hitting much, much harder when he gets those diamonds and 7 stars on there. Madelyne Pryor, she has damage level of Songbird, but not quite the utility that Songbird has, right? And let's go ahead and check out health real quick. I want to look at Emma Frost to see where she sits. Emma Frost is under the new Emma Frost at 53. She gets the barrier, though. She gets the extra armor and everything when she goes diamond form to really keep her alive. So that's pretty good stuff, I think. I am excited for the team. I think Sebastian Shaw with Emma Frost is going to be a very good duo, like I mentioned. Rachel and Azazel, I'm taking them to G20 for sure to add him to that Accursed lineup and her to the Immortal X-Men. I want to know what Immortal can take out with Rachel Summers, because I think that's really going to elevate that team. There's still going to be the weakness of Immortal, though, where they don't have the pre-time on spawn, meaning that it really leaves them open. So they need to go first, which can be an issue, right? But hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I'm actually excited for this team. If you guys did enjoy it, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.